Dallas isn't just getting bigger. It's becoming a pressure valve for America's coastal overflow. That's not hype. It's the math of climate migration and the way people move toward existing hubs. But here's the catch. When millions are pushed off the coasts over time, housing and infrastructure in receiving cities squeeze first. We're talking schools, roads, transit, hospitals, stretched thin. Watch, and I'll map how this plays out block by block, why prices spike in safer neighborhoods, and how the story you thought was about politics is actually about where the waterline stops. Let that sink in. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Why do fake breakup maps like Cascadia and Texlahoma blow up your feed when no one's actually moving there? Because they let everyone roleplay the argument we're already having without saying it out loud. They're spicy, they're shareable, and they poke at a bruise. Here's the thing, those post-apocalypse maps aren't forecasts, they're confessionals. They pull up the floorboards and show what's crawling underneath: culture, money, power. You can call them memes. I call them therapy sessions with a color palette. People post them to laugh, then stare a little too long because the labels hit a nerve. And then the pattern jumps out. The borders barely change. Cascadia drapes the northwest like a tech bro hoodie. Dixie reappears in the southeast with a wink and a wince. Aztlan holds the southwest like a memory. It's the same greatest hits album on loop. Everyone jokes that it's just internet noise. But if it's random, why does it keep landing on the same lines? Cut to a fast split screen. On the left, a neon coastline stitched together by giant metros, ports, finance, media. On the right, interior blocks mapped like power cooperatives, energy patches, farm belts, freight corridors. Smash in a divided states graphic that looks exactly like a college football rivalry chart, where the borders double as trash talk. You aren't seeing predictions, you're seeing stress tests. Analysis out there backs it up. These maps mirror anxieties about polarization, inequality, and gridlock. They're mirrors, not telescopes. That phrasing matters. A telescope tells you where you're going. A mirror tells you what you're afraid of. And right now, the fears are loud enough to draw with a Sharpie. Mini case time. The Hunger Games slammed a stake in this idea. Districts carved by what they produce, all funneling tribute to a capital. Borders as power lines, not a civics class, a control panel. Food here, coal there, security somewhere else, and the on-off switch in one city. That's the vibe in these maps. Carve the continent by what it feeds and who it feeds, then pretend the lines are natural. It's basically a personality test for a country. Answer the same leading questions. Who gets the money? Who makes the rules? Who gets left holding the bag? And the map grades your anxiety. Different artists, same score. You can argue the names. The fault lines stay. So here's the catch. If our memes keep slicing the country along vibes and values, what happens when a real physical force starts shoving people across those lines? Not a senator, not a hashtag, a tide chart, a flood map, something that doesn't read your subreddit and doesn't care about your yard sign. The small payoff is this. Those pop culture regions, Cascadia, Dixie, Aztlan, aren't future countries. They're stress points already rubbing raw. Identity, economy, governance, all grinding along seams we pretend are settled. The lines repeat because the friction repeats, and friction escalates when bodies start moving. So, what turns theory into traffic? What turns a spicy meme into a zoning meeting that runs until midnight and ends with 5 people crying and one guy quoting an HOA bylaw like it's scripture? A bulldozer that doesn't vote. A resource that doesn't negotiate. The next map won't redraw borders. It'll redraw pipelines, culverts, and where your homeowner's insurance suddenly triples. But here's what nobody tells you. The non-political bulldozer is already idling. It's water levels, not a cataclysmic wave. A steady, boring, budget-busting seep. It pushes families one lease at a time, one claim denial at a time, one "we're not renewing your policy" email at a time. And every push has a destination. The question isn't if the map changes, it's which streets start learning new last names first. Dallas isn't winning the lottery, it's inheriting the plumbing problem. When the waterline creeps, the city with spare capacity and highways becomes the relief valve. Sounds flattering until you realize relief means your cul-de-sac turns into a loading dock for America's soggy future. Here's the catch. Climate migration isn't a sudden stampede. It's a years-long drip. Sea level rise and repeat flooding nudge families inland lease by lease, claim by claim, school year by school year. People chase stability, not headlines. They follow jobs, relatives, and the path of least bureaucratic resistance. And the places that already draw people, they get more. Growth attracts growth. It's real. It's happening. You've heard the myth that evacuees scatter to random towns like confetti. Migration math says no. Most people land where there's already a runway. Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, Atlanta, and Midwest metros that have jobs, logistics networks, and subdivisions that can sprout fast. Why roll the dice on an isolated small town when you can plug into an economy that's already humming, even if the hum is a little loud and smells like hot asphalt in August? Trace the routes, and they're almost boring in their logic. South Florida and the low-lying Gulf Coast leak north and west into North Texas via family ties, airline hubs, and companies that already have offices in both places. Atlantic hotspots feed into the Piedmont Belt. Think that I-85 spine, and then into Midwestern corridors where insurance stays payable and land doesn't argue with the basement. The lines don't care about vibes. They care about ladders. Research estimates up to roughly 13 million U.S. residents face displacement risk from sea level rise over the coming decades. That's a stadium tour of people, not a one-night show. The timing and the scale depend on decisions we make now. Zoning, housing supply, transit funding, flood protections, and the local gatekeeping that either welcomes or walls off newcomers. Policies set the pace. Capacity sets the shape. So what does it feel like on your block? Schools order portable classrooms that look temporary and then hang around like that one roommate who never moves out. Commutes stretch while transit plans sit in meetings, sipping PowerPoints. ER waits get longer because the headcount rose faster than the budget. Property insurers play hot potato with premiums, and every toss lands on your renewal letter. None of this is cinematic. It's receipts and hold music. Climate gentrification hits early and sideways. Higher, safer neighborhoods light up first. Listing prices jump. Investors convert carports into bonus rooms and call it an upgrade. Long-time renters watch their leases grow teeth. Meanwhile, city finance teams start stress testing bond capacity to widen arterials, expand water treatment, and harden the grid. You want more people? Cool. They drink, flush, charge, and call 911 like everyone else. Let me give you a Dallas slice. One aging block near a commuter artery loses 3 ranch houses in 6 months. Up go duplexes with driveways that barely fit a full-size truck. HOA threads turn into courtroom drama over street parking and trash pickup windows. Property assessments sprint. Wages jog. The taco spot on the corner thrives, then raises prices. The barber adds a second chair and a wait list. Growth with a bruise. You love the energy. You side-eye the bill. Who loses first on the coast in the next decade? Watch South Florida, Miami-Dade, and Broward, where sunny day floods already gatekeep commutes. Keep an eye on low-lying Gulf communities that re-flood like clockwork. Add the Outer Banks and low-lying Atlantic towns that burn through sand budgets and patience. Early movers prime bigger flows later. First trickle, then stream. So, here's the thing. These aren't doomsday fanfics. They're budget line items. The map that explains America's next big move isn't about ideology. It's about pipes, lanes, wires, and where the waterline tells you to live next. The scariest map isn't the breakup fantasy. It's the one that funnels us into a handful of metros and dares their budgets to hold. Dallas-Fort Worth already felt it. 6-figure in-migration yearly, and home prices jumping hard while wages jog. That's not hype, that's a stress test. Like this video so the algorithm thinks I'm important. Drop a comment. Dallas boom or Dallas boom and bust? Would you move inland for cheaper insurance? Next time, I'm naming the 3 zip codes most likely to flip from affordable haven to priced out pressure cooker. You're not ready. And yes, one of them is hiding in plain sight.